I pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Sellers,
Oh, here.
Trustee McElwain, Supervisor Sellers,
Here.
Trustee Altensey, here.
Righty.
Trustee Cook,
He is absent for right now. Okay. Seeing that we have a quorum, the first order of business is the approval of minutes for the February 7th, 2022 meeting. And motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sellers, second by McElwain. Please take a look at the minutes if you haven't done so already.
Oh, we got 2 sets of minutes.
Who says a minute?
I do.
You want to-
Well, one. Yeah, one is revised.
Revise.
Okay, I'm like, I got 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what am I looking at?
Right.
Temp.
It's okay. All right. Are there any questions on the minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next order of business is the approval of bills payable. And a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sellers, second by McElwain. Please take a look at the bills payable. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. One page today.
One here. So are there any questions on the bills payable, Trustee?
No.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Sellers,
Aye.
Trustee McElwain,
Aye.
Supervisor Sellers,
Aye.
Trustee Altensey, aye.
All right. We have, motion carries. The next order of business is the approval of the one-year contract with Benning Group for annual town audit services.
What's this one?
I'm going to hand this out. I'm going to do the motion in a second. We won't have any vote or anything. We'll be open for discussion for the next meeting, okay? So I need a motion and a second for this.
All right, second.
Okay, motion by Sellers, second by McElwain. And
Is
here
this it, Pat?
Yes,
I
I gave it
already
to you guys
got
already,
one.
okay.
Okay, here.
Oh, I need one
No,
though.
Kelvin don't have one.
Okay. So you guys can take a look at that, and at our next meeting, I'm sure we'll have more discussion about it. I think it only went up a few $100s from last year. They handle our audit and they do a good job for us, so I would like to retain them if at all possible, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right. The next order of business is the presentation of grant requests from the Freeport Art Museum's after-school program. I will open the floor for the Freeport Art Museum to discuss the program with us.
Thank you. I do have a handout.
Okay.
And then I did bring a presentation, but if it's too much to kind of deal with that, then I might bring it up here, but
Is it a
it's okay.
PowerPoint?
Yeah.
I tell you what you can do. Could you email it to
Yes.
me,
Mhm.
and I can send it to the rest of the board?
You can do that.
And because we didn't have any projector or anything
Yeah, no problem.
set up.
Yes, I can do that. I'll email it to you, or I'll put it in a Dropbox.
Okay.
I don't have the bills
And it was
payable.
just, the reason
so
I
can
did the
fill this in.
PowerPoint is because, to share some of the images, and I can just turn it around.
Okay.
I was about to say, yeah, if you like to.
That's fine. Do it that way too.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Since it's a visual art project, it's always nice to have the visuals.
I don't think we can see it enough from there.
Okay.
Just to get an idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, There we go. So this is a little bit about Smart After School. This is a program that the Freeport Art Museum has been doing in collaboration with the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA for a number of years, since 2015, I believe. I also have here our Director of Education and Exhibitions, Barry Troy. He is the one that coordinates the entire program and indeed does a lot of the teaching as well. So what the whole idea behind Smart After School is to incorporate the arts into an after-school program that the Boys and Girls Club has been operating for some time. And we do that in a way, we develop the program specifically in a way to support learning goals that the club is trying to also support. But we're also doing it in a very creative way. And what the arts does is it allows for a different approach to problem solving. And so you'll see that a lot in some of these slides, if I can do this. So like I said, it's a collaboration between us, Boys and Girls Club and YMCA. It reaches, for the most part, the ages that it reaches is ages 7 through 13. And so what it is, a little bit about the scope of the program is what you'll see here. We serve about 140, youth between the Boys and Girls Club and YMCA during the fall and the spring. Now we also have extended this program through the summer too.
Okay.
And that is important because we've shown that being a part of the summer programs really helps prevent what's known as summer learning loss.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the kids engaged during the summer, keep them active, and it really does a lot towards that. We have a very much a multimedia approach with this. So all of the different forms of the visual arts, from painting and drawing and printmaking, to also, you'll see here, we have a student that is working with Stacy's Pottery here in Freeport to do ceramics. We have also partnered with the Rockford Dance Company to bring in traditional and modern forms of dance in the program. And
Now, are they doing the dance and everything now, or is that part of?
the last time we were able, we've suffered, what we'll get into here is
Yeah.
we've suffered from, struggled with financial things.
Okay.
And also, I think the dance company was also, we weren't able to offer this dance in this last year. And I think the dance company was struggling, and certainly we were struggling as well. So, but it's something that we'd like to bring
Yes,
back.
yes.
The kids certainly really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And this is a picture of them doing traditional ballet.
Oh,
Okay.
So that's important too, to get some exposure to some of the traditional forms of dance. We've also done theater, and so working with Becky over at the Boys and Girls Club, she has a theater kind of background, I think. Is that right, Barry? She has theater in her background.
Yeah, they do this play every year, and so the Smart After School kids got involved in doing the stage sets, the visual arts
see
parts
that,
of it, as well as acting and performing.
Okay.
And what I think is key here about a lot of these projects is that it incorporates a high level of reading. So it supports those reading learning goals, because when they're reading through the play, they're practicing their scripts, they're also practicing how to perform in front of audiences, and so working on the speech and reading it all, and then certainly the visual arts, they're all tied together. And I think this is also a very important aspect of the program itself is the museum is delivering the program on site. So we're going to the Boys and Girls Club twice a week usually.
Okay.
We're going to wherever the kids are is where we're going.
Okay.
So we're going to the Y, we're going to Lincoln Douglas. We're also, I brought an image, this is something very important to the Boys and Girls Club. So when we have the funding available, we're trying to also get to the Westview Center. That is something that is very important if we can do it. And then also just one slide about the summer art program. What we're doing in the summer is a little different, not in terms of the kinds or qualities of projects that we're presenting, but the summer months allow us to have the kids working together on large group projects, and a lot of times these have been ones that have been out in the public. We've done the very first mural in the downtown is a project that we did in the summer with the Boys and Girls Club, and that's on the side of Mort's. And then now we've seen quite a number of murals pop up downtown. But so that's something that the youth have always been really proud of. And just a little also about how the museum is funded, because I know you're probably asking questions about where our money comes from. So we're a completely private 501c3, which means we do not receive any direct public tax support. We rely solely on donations and grants for our funding. And the budget, I passed out a sheet that talks about the budget for this program specifically. And I can say that one of the big reason why I'm here and Barry's here today is because we do struggle to find funding for this program every year. We have received grants in the past from Freeport Community Foundation. Sometimes I'll receive other grant funds. I'm always looking for grant funds to support this program. We did have it partially sustained prior to COVID from a grant that had a potentially multi-year option through the United Way. But as we know that what happened during COVID is United Way had to shift their focus away from programs like this in order for to fund more basic needs projects. So those funds were not renewed. And so it has left us in limbo for this program. So this year, yeah, like I said, I was able to get to put 3 different grants, cobble, if you will, 3 grants together to fund only the fall and the spring. So right now, as it sits, we don't have any funding in place for the summer, nor do we have any funding in place for beginning the fall semester, which begins, we're starting to develop that throughout the summer, and then we begin to deliver it in October of the year.
And if I might add, normally in the past with the United Way one, we were doing every week at every site, and that's gone down to every other week. With this funding, except for the Boys and Girls Club, we were managed to be able to do every week there.
Right. Yeah. So we have had to decrease a little bit this year because there just simply wasn't enough.
So you're saying you when you had to cut back, it was every other week, everywhere?
No, with the United Way, Joy, it was, we were doing every week, once a week there. And with that amount, since that cut back, then we had to diminish that to every other week. And that takes place at 6 sites. I think it's at Lincoln Douglas, Empire, Black Hawk, Center School, and then at the Y they have a middle school kids meet there. So with that, and then the Boys and Girls Club have 2 tutoring sites, one at Lincoln Douglas and one at Black Hawk, which that adds another 30 kids to the program there, besides our Boys and Girls Club, which we've managed to be able to do every week. So it comes up to around a total of, I think, around 140 kids.
Right, for the, not including the summer.
Yeah, not including the summer.
We have an additional approximately 100 students. And those are unduplicated numbers, so an additional 100 students in the summer. So, are there any questions that I can answer from anyone about?
Yeah, got a couple. So with, so you're asking us How much are you asking us for? 29,500.
You know, I didn't know whether it would be appropriate to ask for an amount, so all I provided here was this is the total cost of the program for us each year. So I didn't know how much of that the township would be willing to provide or offset by a grant, so.
How much? What's the dollar amount you would request to get it going back once a week?
This would
It will be
be
this
fully
year?
funded. That would
Okay,
be fully
all right,
funded. We
all
would
right.
be able to bring the YMCA was what Mr. Choi was referring to, back fully up to once a week for all 6 locations. And it would also allow us to maintain our full program at the Boys and Girls Club.
Gotcha.
And it would
And the
also, summer and fall.
Yes, summer is included in that.
Right.
Right.
Full program, yeah.
Okay.
And any idea, like how many kids, once they get over 13, like when they get to the junior high, like, what grade is 13, age 13? Like
So 13, that's
7th grade, 7th, 8th grade?
right in there, yeah.
7.
Somewhere there.
We do
Somewhere.
serve
Seventh or
the
eighth.
teens, and we see more of the teens, I would say, and Barry can jump in here, we do see more of the teens, I would say, in the summer.
Yeah, and I think also at the Boys and Girls Club, we brought in a spoken word artist from
Right.
Rockford who travels over to work with them. He's a tremendous Justin.
Zajac.
Yeah, and we found that increased the number, I think, of teens slightly there because of the interest in that form of expression.
Gotcha.
And-
So that's another example of like where we actually bring in real artists who, in specific to that field, like Jessica mentioned, the mural artists, they got to work hands-on with them. This last summer, we had a show with Fatherless Print Posse from Rockford, a really tremendous group. I brought them over with all the print stuff, and they had the teens doing prints there in the gym. And so there's also beyond just us going there with art projects, they're meeting professional artists too.
So any idea? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Phil.
So any idea, like how many of the kids go on to stay doing stuff in the arts after
You know,
they
it's
leave the
hard to
program?
say, but I was very, I was over the moon to learn that one of our students that have been with us since the beginning of us being at the Boys and Girls Club with SMART has now gone into art education.
Awesome. Okay.
In school, and that's something that Barry just told me. So it's hard to say how many actually go on into the arts, you know, but I certainly feel like, you know, the youth are getting a lot out of the program, even if they don't go into the
Yeah,
arts.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I think that it teaches, one of the things that we know that the arts does very well is that it teaches problem solving, and it taps into different parts of the brain and different ways of looking at a problem, even if it's not related to, because it's spatial, it's math, you know, it has a lot of those elements built into creating a piece of artwork, so.
Okay.
And if I might add too, that kids are so tied to their screens today. One thing I know as an artist, that there are different kinds of intelligence and knowledge that you learn by working with physical materials. They learn the elasticity of clay, they learn the resistance of wood, they learn how charcoal falls on a page. They learn how to use a ruler to draw a straight edge. I mean, it sounds like a simple thing, but you know, a lot of kids don't know how to do that. And so there's something in working with physical materials, and just as when we bring the dancers in, moving their body, their eye-hand coordination and all of that. So there, you know, do I want to make them all artists? Heaven no, I would like them to all be attorneys and be able to afford to buy my artwork. But they maybe grow with an appreciation of the arts and have that experience.
Okay.
I think it also helps with their imagination. You
Yeah.
know, now kids don't have an imagination like, you know, we did. Well, maybe not you. You know.
Well, and you know, I see it a lot with the spoken word. They work with Justin for 6 weeks prior to doing a performance, and the performance is done in a public space. Matter of fact, that's coming up April 20th at Wagner House. And so they're up in front of an audience, and last time we did this at Wagner House prior to COVID, that we had a pretty good audience of about 60 people or so. And so, you know, all of the creativity that goes into creating, it's basically a spoken poem. And then getting up in front of an audience and performing that piece is.
Last year, prior to COVID, we had all the sites, all the kids were working on abstract shapes of circles and quarter circles and everything, and coloring them in different ways and everything. From all of the sites, these were brought together to form a mural down at the public library. And what happened is these kids were bringing their kids to see their work in this public space. So they knew they were part of the whole of this piece, and they bring great pride in it. I always encourage them to bring their parents and families to the museum, and sure enough, they do walk in the door. This last Saturday, we had like, I don't know what, 20-some people in there, and 4 of them were kids from this program with their parents.
I'm glad actually you bring up the parents. I have one more thing. That's something that we have incorporated into the program since learning about the school's goal of really working on parent engagement. So every year we do a parent youth activity. It's up in the form of like a paint party. And so we do that at the club, and that we normally, we fill up very quickly in that. We have over 60
last
pairs.
time it was like something close to 70 people, parents and kids,
And so
painting on canvases.
That offers like a direct parent engagement activity for the kids. So.
All right. And last question. Maybe you're doing this already. Is there a way, like once these kids get to the upper age brackets, a way to maybe link them into the Freeport Arts and Theater Department? And the reason why I'm asking that is because, you know, a lot of times when you look at those productions, you don't see a lot of diversity. And it seems like, you know, the kids, like, for whatever reasons, either just no interest, they're not going for it. But if you got them in this program, and I'm thinking specifically about the kids who are involved in the theater part, either, you know, because you have them building the sets, doing the performances, that's a direct lead into what they can do in high school, because the students build the sets and design the sets and do the acting. So this could be a great pipeline to get more diversity into the Freeport Art Department, because you got them hooked already here.
Right.
So there's an intentional way to get them exposed to that, to say, hey, you can also do this in high school, and to keep that interest there, they might get a good pipeline.
That's a really good point, actually, and we've worked quite a bit with Donnell Setterstrom, and so I'd have to talk to her about and brainstorm about ways that maybe we can do that. And I know you know, I've gone to Showtime, for example.
Yeah.
And you're right, you don't see a whole lot of diversity there. So yeah, that's something that we definitely could work on, and you know, develop.
One thing we have done too is that we went through the dance program. I'm trying to remember which summer this was. I think this was prior to COVID. We asked the Winneshiek Theater if they could perform there, so they were able to go into the theater and perform what they practiced at the Boys and Girls Club on a stage with parents in the audience and everything. So yeah, I take your point, and I think any way we can expand this and have ideas like that, that would be great.
Cool. All right. Thanks.
Yeah,
Good
thank
stuff.
you. That's a good suggestion.
No, my daughter did arts, and, you know, worked with Tim Connors in theater group, and so just kind of seeing those kids put sets together and stuff, you know. So it's like, wow. I was like, well, these are kids who are already kind of being floored into that. So
That's true.
yeah.
Unlike our classes have almost no prereqs. With most of the music classes, because my daughter just signed up for classes, and I was like, well, you get back into music, and you have to have like a course approval for like any music class in high school. Just kind of interesting.
Really?
An interesting blockage to being able to get into the program. You can't, not everyone can sign up for music classes in high school.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's all like, whereas in art, you have to take the prereq of design 1 and 2, and then you can take any art class. With music, if you weren't already in the music department, basically in junior high, you like can't start unless you have specific approval from the teacher, which is what's the word, like a barrier for entry.
Okay. Before we move forward, I have to go back to item number 6. We need the approval tonight, guys, for the grant. I mean, not for the grant, for the auditors to do their auditing work. We need the approval.
okay.
Oh, we do need to approve it tonight.
We have the motion and second on the floor, so it's already open. You guys take a look at the cost. If the cost is okay, we need to do a roll call vote.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
this lower than it was?
No, it's
No, it's a little higher.
Up a little higher.
It's a little higher.
It's a couple hundred.
It's the budget line
The
item
budget,
is higher.
The budget line item is higher, yeah. So, in case they run
I
into
make a
problem.
motion that we accept the amount for Benning and Group.
Yeah, so, one second.
Okay. We already have the motion and second.
Yeah.
So now we need a roll call vote.
Okay. Trustee Cook.
Yes.
Trustee Sellers.
Yep.
Trustee McElwain.
Yes.
Trustee Altonsi. Yes.
Talking to yourself today, huh?
And
that
Supervisor
a
Sellers
lot.
said yes too, so don't forget me.
And Supervisor
Waiting for the
Sellers.
yeses over
Yeah, it's all
yays.
right.
They're really
Okay.
like
Big win.
cookies.
All right. Excellent. Okay, that's okay. The next order of business is the supervisor report, which is me, guys. I want to hand out our expenditure of the budget report and also let you guys know that we have our lockbox fixed.
Okay. Take care, you guys.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you
guys.
so much.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Our lockbox is fixed, but you guys are going to probably see, you guys are going to probably see another charge on there from Ken's Locksmith because we're going to put another lock on here to ensure this doesn't happen again. He's going to put another lock on the box, more of a glass-like lock to where you can't jimmy it open.
Oh.
So he made that suggestion, and I said I think that would be a good idea so we can have that box even more secure.
So what you're saying is that he
It's
fixed it.
fixed, yes.
Okay, but in that cost, while he was fixing it,
Yes.
he said, how about I put a more
Yes,
secure
we need a
lock
more
on
secure
it?
lock. Don't get me wrong, he said, this lock is good. The lock you have in there was good. But they still get in it. Even though the lock was good. He said, we get a glass lock on here. They won't get in the box. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So I told him, let's go ahead and let's do that. So once he gets everything all straightened out and get the apparatus made, he's
Oh,
gonna
he has
let
to
us
make
know.
it.
Yes.
Oh,
He's gonna let
okay,
us know he's gonna
okay.
put it on there. I'll be there when he puts it on there.
Okay.
What I want is for the same key, the lock, to
Right,
unlock the,
yeah.
it'd be one key, one leave
Yeah,
two keys.
right.
And
One
so,
master key.
absolutely, so that is the plan. Alrighty. That is pretty much all I have for the supervisor report. Next order of business, the assessor's report.
So I continue to look at both software valuation programs. I've been in contact with both companies with multiple questions, and I keep going back and forth. I have met with Rockford Township that has one of the systems, and I'm going to meet with Sterling Township later this week, weather permitting, and see the other one in action, so that's where I am with that.
Okay,
All right.
Thank you.
all right. The next order of business is trustees report. Trustees.
So what's next with the art museum? Does that come back next meeting for a proposal amount? And
Yes, I am for giving them a grant. I am for it. We need to discuss more in detail how to proceed with Attorney Phillips. How do we proceed with this a little more? So I'm going to talk with him. He didn't make it tonight because the weather is permitting to be here,
yeah.
but he and I are gonna have a discussion over the next couple of weeks on
Okay.
how do we actually proceed? How can we actually do it to where it's, you know, to where it's good. So, the next step is for me to have that discussion with him.
Okay, all right.
We'll have the discussion. I'll bring it back to the board at the next meeting. What all we talked about, he'll be
Okay.
here. So if you guys have any questions about what we discussed, and I'll let you guys know, and then
Okay,
we can take it from there.
right.
Okay.
sounds good.
All right. Anything else, trustees? All righty. Next up is public comment. Any public comment? No public comments. Any other business coming for the town? Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn until 4:30, Monday, March 7th.
March already.
March,
So moved.
township make time go by fast.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Ayes have it.
Motion carries.